What's up, guys? Welcome back to another. I was actually gonna start this like I usually start my YouTube videos.
Yeah. Hey.
Another electric skateboard video.
Reload the brakes.
Welcome back to another episode of Esk8Exchange, a show we talk about MBoards, electric skateboard industry, various businesses we all run. Esk8Con's one of them. So yeah, but today is all about the endurance. We released it on Tuesday.
Yep.
So we finally dropped it. We've been working on it since dude, I remember riding around one of the early prototypes in February on Catalina Island. Yep. So which means we had gotten the design process started over a year ago.
Yeah, it's here, people, and now I'm finally allowed to talk about it.
Yes.
Gosh.
So
you know how hard it is to hold in that secret? It was killing me.
Well, we've been kind of alluding to it. People on the podcast kind of known about it for a little while, but we haven't really gotten to show final images of the grip tape or really the way it looks sitting on the ground. So before we get started though, James, thank you for being here.
What's up?
Jacob, thank you for being here. Maddie's behind camera with the baby. Yep. So thank you.
And we're getting Maddie a camera.
We are getting Maddie a camera.
It's
happening. It's time.
Sure.
It's time for one.
Maddie's getting one.
Especially on those episodes where she's really involved. She needs a camera for sure.
Yep.
But let's talk about the board, guys. Let's talk about what we had to deal with. What are some some problems that we had during the production process, design process, stuff like that.
All of it. Maybe some shenanigans.
It was a lot. So we got started on this I want to say around November of last year, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it was around there. We started designing a carbon fiber deck. So I was like, let's do a carbon fiber deck this time. Yep. And we were like, all right, do we do a 12.4 or do we do a 12.8? But is it 12.8 can be too fat? People can be turned off by how thick it is. And we were like, you know what? Everyone does a 12.4 or at the time moving to 12.4s, because even a year ago, no one really had 12.4. I mean,
it was
we were all starting to go
unless
to
you had
12.4s.
a LaCroix.
Right.
I think that's a big thing, sort of, as just to kind of preface this conversation, is that really this started so long ago.
Right.
So along the way, we learned things change, but overall we stuck to the same design, the same idea from November.
Right.
There hasn't been some minor details that have changed, but
right.
I remember when you mentioned 12.8, because we were people were just starting to talk about the 12.4. So that would be a big deal. 12.8 a year ago. So,
right.
And it's still a pretty big deal now.
So the big deal about that is we figured, you know what, let's go 12.8, because here's why. People are only getting still on these, even the new boards coming out, are only getting about 20 miles, 25 miles on all terrains, and they want to go farther.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm like, let's go for it. Let's take the risk. Let's go 12.8 on these boards. Let's make them fat as fuck.
Yes.
Let's be real.
Yes.
Which it turns out they don't look that big.
No.
They don't look big at all. It's crazy.
No.
But let's make it fat. Let's make sure we can cram a whole 12.8 in there. And let's pray that the weight of this thing isn't a huge turnoff for people.
No,
I can tell you this. I love that it's heavy.
Yeah, and
I love riding that it's heavy.
Yeah,
man.
it's not a bad heavy. And it helps it when you're going faster too. Actually, it adds more to the stability and everything.
I think so too.
We've been racing it, and it has been a beast. And we had Mario race it, and he gave us the 2 thumbs up for sure. And so that was always cool.
Yeah. So let's before we get involved too much, let's talk about the full specs so everyone knows we're on the same page, right? Forged carbon fiber deck. It comes in a matte version and a glossy version. It has a 12S 8P P4E2A battery pack.
Yep, Molly.
Yep. It has a Stormcore 60D Plus.
Yep.
It has 63, 68, 190 kV motors. Board bumpers, pulleys, which is pretty great.
Whoop, whoop.
Riptide, Riptide 93, 96 bushings.
Yes, which is a game
Jacob
changer.
pushed for very hard. He's like, dude, we got to get better bushings. You got to get better bushings. I'm like,
yes.
all right, let's do it. We got him, and I was like, dude.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Very
I'm like,
nice.
And Kyle over at SD Skate, he's like, dude, any board that's got 4 digits in the price tag better have upgraded bushings.
Yes, some of the best bushings in the game too.
Dude, because seriously, you could talk about all these other boards, and they're coming with generic. Yeah. You're paying $3,000 for a board, and they come in with generic bushings. You have
no idea what they are, what compound. You're just running off of what whoever is selling you says.
There's still just some products on the market that no matter what, they're going to be better than what the manufacturer can do.
Yep.
And it's like that in cars, boat.
The aftermarket stuff's just better.
Because they can focus on it. They're doing it for a specific cause, whereas the manufacturer says, well, they work.
Yeah.
For us, they didn't work. So we said, look, this is what
we need something else. So we went, you guys went out of your way to find something better.
Yeah. So we went and talked to Brad.
And tested.
We went and talked to Brad over at Riptide, and he's like, all right, send me your dimensions. You can send trucks if you need to or whatever. and we'll kind of curate a, like shapes and all that for
style
you.
Of bushings
style bushings specifically for you guys and for what you guys are going for. And they did a great job.
Yep.
They did a great job.
Killed it.
They're not cheap, but they are, I think they're a great value for what you get. Let me put it that way.
Well, for sure. And that's like one of the first upgrades that you want to do on your board. Yep. If you have stock anything or stock everything is bushings for sure.
Yep. Well, and I thought part of me was like, all right, well, let's make the board cheaper and just offer that as an upgrade kit. But we were like, no, because the first thing people are going to say, they're going to step on the board and they go, I don't like the way it rides.
Yeah.
And they're just going to blame the board. They're not going to go out of their way to actually change the bushings. So like, you know what? Let's charge a little bit more, put the bushings in, so that way they're blown away when they step on it for the first time.
I think you guys did a good job with the Riptide.
VX4 remote.
Love
and
it.
We did go with DKP trucks,
yep,
which is a hot button issue apparently.
Yeah, some people don't like them, some people do. Anybody will tell you that as long as you get on them in practice, you're fine.
So we set out to build a board that we really, really like, and I really, really like DKPs, man.
Yep,
I really like them, and these bushings make these awesome. So
DKPs have been king for a couple years.
Yep.
They'll never go away. They're still around on longboards. Like we're gonna see cycles. We're gonna see phases, fads, design changes, things like that. Eventually, somebody's gonna come up with a new design for a DKP, and we're all gonna try it and say, "Holy shit! Why didn't we think about this in the first place?" But that's the best part of innovation. It's not always brand new. It's just a tweak. It's a tweak here and there.
Our original Interstellar had RKPs, and I just didn't like the carvability of those.
You don't really, I don't know. I've ridden some other e-skates that have RKP setups, and it's just not the carve.
Yeah,
there's not that. It's not really.
But I've always loved the DKP feel.
Yeah,
I've always loved that. And so, anyway, that's what we went with. We like them. All of our whole team likes them. So, is what it is. Anyways, so that's great. Okay. So what do you guys think the hardest, like, as a team, we've been dealing with this board for a year. What do you guys like what's like our memorable moments here? What do you guys think? Like the hard parts, like is there anything that sticks out in your head?
Decks from China. It was hard to get them here. That was like the main thing. They were assholes about getting the boards here.
It was getting them to be right.
Yeah, because we're having to deal with people on a different continent.
Yeah.
That was the hard part.
It's I think the whole production process and the design process I feel like was easy. I think I banged out this design in a day. I think I designed this in one day. I mean, I worked on it for 12 hours that day or something, but like it was like a day and then it was done.
Okay.
We 3D printed the entire thing. We glued it all together. Obviously didn't write it, but like test fit everything. It was great. But actually getting the quality that we wanted out of the boards was really difficult.
Yeah.
Our first batch, we got 2 boards or 1 board maybe.
I think it was
maybe
it
2.
Yeah, there were a couple, I thought.
Okay, so our very first batch, it was like 2 or 3. Actually, I'm pretty certain my very first sample was 1.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, that's Enduro
I think it was a single one.
And then it was the next one was 3.
But the problem, so that one was great. It was strong. It felt great to ride, but it looked decent, but there was so many finishing problems.
Yeah.
Tons of finish issues.
Yeah,
like
way too much epoxy.
Epoxy was just all over the place. The holes were like
all
the
filled in.
The heat-sink hole, like the space for the heat-sink was like jagged.
Yeah.
It was it was
straight lines.
Awful.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God. I'm like, because then part of me thinks like, well, the one-offs are usually the best. Like when they do your samples usually look the best. Yeah. So I'm like, if this is what our sample looks like, what is production going to look like?
It's about when I looked at Mike and I said,
God.
what the fuck did you do, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Are you sure about this? Like, so he's got a couple $1,000 in at this point, and he's like, man, I'm on the hook for like 60 more of these at some point. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
We spent a lot of money on and the problem is we spent a lot of money on molds. It's not like, we get them our design, they like CNC it once. Like we spent a ton of money on the mold itself. So I'm like, so I at one point I threatened to pull the mold from the factory. I was like, listen, I'm gonna have to find someone else to make these.
We can't
I need my mold moved to another factory. And they go, no. Well, give us another shot at it. I'm like, okay. Well, actually that came later. Next, we got the next batch of boards, right? And they looked a lot better, still not perfect, but they sucked in a different way. They broke.
Yeah,
we would stand on them, ride them literally down a little, like, not off a curb, but off, like, when the sidewalk becomes flat, we'd ride it off that, and just that little bump went, bro, like, start cracking the board. I'm like, are you serious? And then like, what changed? So our first one, like literally the first one, I beat the hell out of it. I rode it at Catalina. I was bombing hills with it. I was off-roading. Like everything was great. Not a single crack on that board. And now all of a sudden these boards are sucking ass. I'm like, what? So now I go back to them and I'm like, and we talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah. What was the final thing that they said about that?
What happened? Whatever happened was their epoxy to carbon ratio had changed.
Okay.
And I'm like,
WTF?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? So that pissed me off because I'm like, okay, yeah, you go balls to the wall. My first sample, put as much carbon as you wanted, and then now this time you pull the carbon out to make save money. Like at this, I'm like, we need every single sample. And now maybe they were thinking, well, this is just to show them that our finish is good, so we don't need to spend so much money on. But they're charging me the same amount each time. If they wanted to just prove that my sample, like that their finish technique was good, well, then charge me half off and say, hey, don't ride these, by the way.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
That's because that's a fine method, right? But I'm like, you guys didn't tell us this.
Yeah.
I went and rode this thing and damn near killed myself.
Well, we just have the problems with dealing with people in China and the language barrier and time barrier and them just really not giving a fuck.
So then all three of them were no good. Like I've got a broken one over there. We've got maybe
that was fun actually.
Right? So
even though it was like just mildly disturbing.
Yeah.
You know, it was just sort of one of those sitting around like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And the only thing we could feasibly think of was, let's just see if it will break.
Yeah, let's test
see
it.
what it takes.
So here's the thing. It wouldn't snap clean. It's not like you're riding and, oh my God, my truck's gone. It would just start cracking and crack, like just slowly over.
So that's
which
nice
is good
about carbon fiber. That's what I really like about a carbon fiber deck, because when you're riding, it doesn't just snap off.
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it snap. I've seen carbon boards snap clean off.
Okay, so I haven't seen that. But I always see the wooden decks. The wooden decks always snap and break.
Yeah. So in this case, though, ours was not snapping clean off. It was like sagging into the point where it was just slowly splintering.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, like that's when I got that, I was like, guys, like I need my mold because the finish has been shit. Now you guys, I feel like we're pulled one over on me, which ultimately I kind of strong armed them into giving us. They overproduced an accident one day. Yeah. Like 3 decks. They wanted to sell them to me. I said, no, you can give those to me for free. They're like, no, we can't. Why would you give them to me for free? I said, the 3 decks you sent me were all clearly defective. I said, so you can let your manager know that you can give me those for free, and then we'll keep my mold here. Okay. They did give me those for free.
There we go.
So it was pretty nice. I was like,
there was some sunshine.
So I was like, all right, guys. Here's what I need. I need you guys to go back to your records, find out what you put into our first deck, how much epoxy, how much carbon. Find that ratio again. Make me another one, and I need you to go and get it officially stress tested. And I need to see video of it being stress tested to the point it breaks, and I need to see the number on the screen.
So what was the number?
So that we did that. I do have video of that. I'll send that over to Maddie so she can edit that in. It ended up breaking at 950 kilograms, which is just, I think, under 2,000 pounds. Yep. Now, again, like one of the things we're struggling with is say you're a 250-pound person and you step on a board. It's totally stopped. That's 250 pounds of downforce. But what about when you're riding and you go off like an inch little curb?
Yeah,
and you're forced
more pressure.
You're forced momentarily, just you're pretty much jumping on the board from an inch off the ground. Like, how much force is that now?
Who knows?
It's more than 250 pounds.
Definitely more.
Because if I lay on the ground, Jacob jumped on me. Yeah, it would feel like a lot more than however much you weigh. Yeah. On me. So that the question was, how much force are we really putting on these boards? The simulations aren't. You only can go so far with that. So it's like, we don't know. So my thought was like, okay. So what we were doing was I took the shipping scale right off the table and I put it on the ground and I was jumping on it. Okay. And I was able to get it up to like 400 pounds. So I'm like, okay.
All right.
So if someone.
It's really scientific, by the way.
Totally. But I was like, I don't know how else to do it.
Engineering at its finest.
I have no idea how to. And I'm sure someone who's super smart.
I mean,
it's like a Newton meter scale.
And I looked that up too. I was like, let me find like a calculator for. Downforce.
Did anybody catch Mike in this act of jumping on the scale or anything? Maddie, did you end up coming outside? What are you doing over there?
It was really just a generalized, like, am I hitting 1,000 pounds or am I hitting 50 pounds more than my weight? What am I hitting really? So I'm like, okay, if we're hitting like double my weight, then let's make sure we can this thing breaks at double whatever, so again, 2,000 pounds is damn near 10 times the weight of
it'll take, because Jacob has ridden the fuck out of one of these things, and over through wetlands we got massive cracks, and these cracks are like probably what 6 inches wide, and they're probably like
cracks in the ground.
Yeah, and they're like probably 6 inches wide, and I bet you half an inch deep. And so when you're riding over those on AT or even street wire or street tires, it for sure tests the crap out of it. And so the rest of our decks.
So after we got our, so I had which sucks. I had to pay for the one that they broke because they had to make me one. They made me 4, right? They sent me 3, and then they kept 1 to do the stress test on. So which kind of sucked because it's like, oh, they broke it, like
whatever.
But whatever.
I needed to see it happen.
I should have asked to have them send it to us just to take a look at it.
Send that one from China.
I'm sure that's gone now, but
it's in the garbage.
But anyway, so I'm like, okay, 950 kilograms or 2,000 pounds, great.
Yeah.
Now again, still that does not mean you can be 2,000 pounds and step on our board. That's not how that works.
No.
But our official weight rating would be tested at 260. Okay. 265 maybe I put.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think once you're loaded up with shoes, backpack, helmet on,
it's
about 265. Now that doesn't mean if you're, I'm not going to officially say that you can ride it if you're heavier than that. I'm just liability reasons. But it broke at 2,000 pounds, so you're probably okay.
Yeah, they'll be fine. So at the end of the day, we should be good.
But I would say if you're way more than 265, I'd probably just not go with this deck.
Okay.
Just
so
keep our business. Okay.
I mean, skating over that weight, like, it's just scary. I guess at some point you have to know your own limits. So know your own limits, know how you're pushing it.
Right.
Okay, so we got the matte and the glossy, and it seems like a lot more people like the matte.
We got our latest batch. And
that was something new though too.
What?
The matte.
Yes, we got the matte. We at the last 11th hour, pretty much. We're like, all right, you know what? We got a sample of matte, and we're like, oh, this looks pretty good.
Like, looks great.
We took to Instagram. We're like, all right, guys, matte or glossy.
The people
and it was so
matte.
split. Yeah. It was like 60-40 for matte. I was like,
matte.
It wasn't overwhelming one way or the other. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do 2.
Yeah.
I asked him. I was like, hey, can we split our matte to glossy? He said, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Half of them will go one direction, half will go the other, through the factory, and but they look great. So now now there's one thing I'll mention to the podcast people, because it's whatever. It's so bizarre, but the moment you build a board up, right, you step on it and you hear creaks and moans and groans for like 5-10 minutes, and then it goes away. So it's like it settles. I think we believe it, at least they've told us, and what we believe, it's like the epoxy like settling. Like it's like it had never experienced weight before. Yeah. So it's almost like cracking a new book.
The final,
it's almost like
the final crack in.
It's like you crack. So
it wasn't something we were expecting though, or really ready for. So
so we stood on it. We were like, oh god, they're gonna break again.
Yeah.
But they're not. But once you like literally jump on them for like 2 minutes, the cracking stops, and then you go ride it, and you're like, oh. All right. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, so we're gonna ride it for like 0.3 of a mile, just around. The block
then that's another thing we're gonna do is.
I feel like that's a good idea.
So the Interstellars, I was obsessed with making sure they showed up pristine, nice and clean, all this. And I'm like, this time around, no, like I want to build every single one of them. And every single board's gonna go out in the parking lot and be ridden for at least a half a mile.
Yeah, a couple laps,
just to make sure everything sounds good, everything reacts well, it's all good. And then we'll do our best to wipe down the tires and all that. But I think people would much rather see us, a nice QC sheet in there that says that someone rode it for a mile, that's been checked and all that. Then I think they'd rather see that than it show up absolutely super clean.
And if you don't like it, then go somewhere else. No, I'm just kidding.
But anyways, so the deck was an insane ride, and there's still things on this deck that I'd love to update in the future. But for now, I think it's a great. I feel like
this is
board.
A good option.
Yeah, I think it's a good board. I think it's one. We actually did something that didn't exist. We've always kind of like, oh, that's cool. We'll start selling that, or we'll do our own take on this or that. But like this board with a battery this big in this form factor literally has not existed.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That level is like, to get to that level, you were talking 3,000, 3,500 plus. At which point people are getting these tanks. These huge boards that are just not. They're not mobile enough.
Yeah,
right?
Boards.
I have not mentioned it, but the retail price of this board is $27.99.
Yeah,
which is not a cheap board, but I think for what you're getting on this board, I think every time we talk to people over at group rides and stuff, we told them the price, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good." Because if you compare it to a different competitor who's selling their boards at just $200 less, like $200 more, right? You get double the battery.
Yeah, you get half a board.
And what's nice about this is
you pay an extra $1,000 to get like maybe.
What's
maybe
nice is that you're not locked in with this board. So say you don't like the VX4 and you want a VX2, or say you want a puck, or you want to change a different ESC because whatever, you don't like Stormcore because you're weird. But you can change all that stuff.
Yep.
So you're not locked into certain remotes and ESCs and motors. You know.
I had like 5 of them in the back of the Tahoe. And
it
was
yeah.
Like 5 boards.
It was like there's like
all the
400 miles worth of range back here right now.
Yeah.
And to be able to get that doing anything else, like maybe I can get 2 LaCroix in the back.
Yeah.
Maybe or like something like that. But
I think I'm really proud
literally throw it in your front seat and just jam.
I'm really proud of the size of our board based and compared to how many miles we can get. Like literally, so I'm able to get 50 plus miles, and I honestly think I could get. That's our advertised. Sure. I think I can get 60 or plus on ATs.
Well, it depends. I know that I spent like quite a bit of time down on the strip, going about 8 to 12 miles an hour, and I had pulled 36 miles and still had like 40-something% left.
On the 12-8?
On the 12.
Yeah, and you're cooking too.
Yeah, there was a time where I was cooking about 30 miles an hour down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah.
For sure. So that was pretty impressive, bro.
One of the main things with this board that really all of our boards, Interstellar. Well, the Interstellar I feel like was more of a kit board, But this board I feel like we really wanted to let's try a production board and do it kind of right. And the whole rhetoric though that we've got with our boards is to make sure that they are maximum compatibility. Like literally our drivetrain, you could get new mounts, you can get new pulleys, you can get all that stuff from a different bit, like any other business.
Yep.
You can change to any battery, any ESC, like everything is so open, unlike some of the other boards out there. I'm not going to name names, but there's nothing proprietary. All the connectors are standardized. Like it's so easy to go, I want to switch this, I want to switch that.
Yes.
Let's pretend MBoards goes away one day and this board's 3 years old and they want to swap their battery out. They just can't. You can just do it without having to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like we get people who all the time they want to upgrade their carbon board that they have, and I have to pretty much tell them that it's
you gotta gut it.
You have to take the ESC out, you have to take the battery out, and the motors and the remote. Yep. Like all all electronics have to go because all the connectors are all proprietary.
Yes,
which sucks.
I think a lot of companies start that way. Mm-hmm. And eventually they just let's do our own this and then let's do our own that. And
we got to make it our thing.
This is all let's just always do our own thing. Like.
Which is understandable.
That's cool, but
then you get everybody copying their own thing because that one thing worked.
Just keep both, man. Just do both. Like make it compatible. Why not? You can do your own thing and still be compatible with others.
I think the problem is, I think the issue is when you start dealing with volume.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all talking about Evolve. Let's be real. Let's just stop beating around the bush. When you start selling that many boards, like as they do, I think the issue is that they try to protect themselves from random warranty claims because people are plugging in things they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and they're tinkering with shit. And
the way that they get around that is like making it impossible to plug something that's not stock into it, which I understand that point of it. But like as far as like a right to repair or just literally being DIY friendly, that's just not the way we want to go. I mean, maybe, hey, if we start selling 10,000 boards, maybe we'll go, oh gosh, maybe we need to do that too. You never know. Like, but for now, that's what we're doing. Like, we're just keeping the boards very open. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, the deck was definitely the hardest part. I think that's the biggest thing is just this deck was like the only thing that's really new about the industry, really.
Well, and we've gone through a few iterations of batteries and configurations.
Checked out a couple different things.
Kind of what the best design
because we can fit more in there.
We thought, I think we can still squeeze a 14S in there.
Yeah,
technically, I think there's room for a 14.8.
Yeah,
most of our demos were 12.4s, just stuff with foam because you didn't really need it to test a deck, to test drivetrain.
We made an attempt to make sure this deck was super super thin, and I think unnecessarily. So the way that we have our batteries is literally it cells, and then all the important shits run down the sides.
Yep.
We need those Tesla cells. Those
big ass ones.
I about think
they're 4680s. I think they are
46. We're at 21 times 2. Damn, we'd be close.
Yeah, we'd be pretty close. I think our next iteration of this eventually, I think we're gonna make the deck a little bit deeper just to make it much easier for everybody.
With some water ingress things.
A little bit better things but no, for now though, I'm really happy with what we have. And what's so funny, I have a board, obviously. We've been riding for a year, and I'm looking at the new ones coming off for the line back there, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want one of those. Those look really nice.
They
look so clean.
Maybe some demos hitting the site soon.
Fresh off the line, bro. They look really nice for sure. Because we've used and abused quite a few of these. There was one that I was tanking to and from work every day for miles. I put quite a few miles.
The most miles on the endurance than anybody here, because you definitely you'd ride how many miles is it from home?
It was 10 miles to work and 10 miles home.
So 20 miles a day, like consistently, like every day,
every single day, and it was doing. But now it's starting to get a little cold, so now I drive to work, and then end up getting dropped off and ride one home or float home. But we put a lot of miles. We tested them, and it's awesome. The thing that I've really come to like about it is the Esk. I like having the vest set up, because now we can run different remotes, different stuff. And
one of our boards has a VX2 Pro receiver in the UART port, and then the puck receiver in the PPM port, or PW, whatever it is, PPW.
Yes,
same thing for me. In my head, it's the same thing, but it's different. But whatever. But anyway, we have both receivers in our board, so like you can kind of switch back and forth whatever remote you want to use.
Just do it real quick in the vest cap. So all these boards are going to come pre-tuned, right? Nobody has to mess with anything.
So that's the thing. Like the vests are very tunable, but we'd really prefer if people just didn't mess with the settings.
Don't mess with it,
because we've tuned them really nice to the way we feel like they should be. And when you mess with settings, especially if you've no idea what you're doing, you could pop your ESC, bro. So don't do it.
The vest settings are a little confusing. It's intimidating in the beginning, so we for sure say don't fuck with it until you watch all of our videos and comment and send us an email.
I think the best thing to do is, if you really want to change your settings, just shoot us a quick email and like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and we'll say, all right, change this to that, or bro, it's not going to change anything. It's not how it works. And I think that's the best way of doing it. Some people are just going to change their stuff, whatever.
They are, but just what it is. Don't be ignorant when it comes to Vesk. That's what it is, because you need to have a little bit of knowledge.
Right.
Your electronics are important, Like take care of your electronics. There's other things we can do mechanically.
That's the brain, bro. That is the brain.
We can make mechanical changes that are much easier than just, changing settings here and there. Like it's It's less noticeable, I guess, when you do it on the electronic side.
Right. I would always prefer to mess with the actual gearing than I would let me just try to force more amps in my motor. Well, no, that's not.
Don't do it. Just because it says that it can push 100 amps, don't push that much.
Well, we abide by LaCroix suggested settings. We don't exceed what they claim, and that's the settings they ship on their boards, and we all can agree that their board is ripped. So we don't need to push them farther than that.
Well, we did adjust a couple of the things, like in our remote. I think it takes off faster than the LaCroix remote.
That's, I suppose that could be possible. Yes. I think we do mess with the throttle curve a little bit, so it depends what they have on theirs. Okay.
That's my vote. I just always want to make sure that the throttle hits as soon as that thermo moves.
It's very. Right? I feel like it's pretty smooth.
Yes. Ours is pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Because all right.
So we got Joe in the back right now making more boards. So we've got literally around the room. There's like piles of like
boards,
half-done boards right
board
now.
Over there, boards
There's
over
three
here.
over here.
I think I owe a board rack. That's why I was like, no, I'm gonna build the board rack, and then I'll build the board rack, and then next week I'll build. No, it didn't.
Well, our board rack is like full.
We have two board racks. One is full of nonsense that we're gonna. That's the project for today. We're gonna clear it out and get all these boards up and off the ground.
Because they're just regular longboards over there, skateboards, all sorts of shit.
But
so launching, we announced this week.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
it'll launch officially on the website Thursday night.
It's on actually.
Oh, it's on now. Okay.
Yeah, go to MBoards Co.
Today we usually post our podcast on Saturday, but because we have a different video lined up for Saturday, we might push this to Sunday.
Okay.
But either way, we're in the middle of our Black Friday sale.
Yes.
So if you're interested in one of these boards, this would be the day to do it because by Tuesday we're going to bring our prices back up to normal price. So right now it's $200 off. You can get free shipping.
Hopefully we have any left by Tuesday.
I hope they're all gone, bro. That'd be nice. I hope they're gone.
We're going to Mexico. You boys ever been to Mexico?
Oh my god.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully they're gone. But if they're not gone and you can buy one, it'll say sold out. So if you can buy one, that they're there. And we're shipping and delivering all before Christmas. So
yes.
So that's me pretty cool.
So get yourself a new deck.
A new board. Yeah, and then eventually everyone's asking about the deck. That's the big thing, is they want to buy the deck. We are getting our next batch of 50 They're on the water right now.
They're coming.
When we get those, that's when we'll release the deck for sale separately.
Yes.
For now, though, we've got our limited run that we're just kind of reserving for our boards themselves. We don't want to because I know that if I put the decks out today, we'd probably sell 10 of them.
Probably.
So then we'll have no way of selling our board. So we're just holding the 10 for us for right now.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll we'll actually release all the other. Unless boards are flying off the shelf, we may delay that until we feel like we stabilize a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But no, I'm super stoked with how these are going together. The Stormcore is great in there, which that's $330 worth of value right there.
Yes, it is, and that's probably the
so
best.
That's the thing is when you add up all these parts individually, you get it. It's like comes out to like $2,650.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like for us to build it for you is like $50 plus free shipped. So it's like
there you go.
It all works out. It's like as far as parts go, it's not marked up anything higher than what the parts face value really are.
Yes.
So
what's nice is that we got a dude that has been building skateboards for a while, putting those boards together. So it's not like you're just getting, we
got a dude that's built 10,000 boards building them right now.
He was telling me numbers that's pretty crazy. I mean, he's put together. That is his job. So you guys probably got one of the best over there putting your shit together. Yep. So you're welcome.
Yeah. So it's been fun. The content's been fun to make.
For sure. I know I've had a blast getting it.
I'm excited. So I remember my first time we went to a group ride and I saw this kid roll up on an Interstellar. I'm like, no shit, that's crazy. Saw a dude and he loved it. He loved it. It was cool. But I'm excited to see these out in the wild.
Yeah, because we've had a couple people that we've sent out at group rides and everything, and they've been asking about it. When can I buy one?
Yep.
We've had a very interested.
Well, that's live, so go ahead.
Yeah.
But
okay, so what's your favorite setup?
So my favorite setup, I think, for me is 7s on 66T pulleys.
Okay.
I like the torquiness because there's so much range, so I'd rather just have the torque.
Yeah.
Now, when I was pulling like the 50, 60 miles on my ATs, I think I had 7s on 58s.
Yeah.
So it was more.
That's my go-to.
It was a little more efficient.
Yes.
Right. So that's the thing that's why I think range ratings are dumb because like someone who rips this thing super fast on 66s probably may not get that, but they're still gonna get well into the 40s. Let's be real.
Sure, high 40s.
But like I know
49.
Moderately riding, I know I can get like over 60.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting on a 12.4 30 plus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I was getting high 20s.
Extrapolate that into a 12.8 and all the cells are getting hit less for amps each. They'll be more efficient too. So it's like I don't know.
I did 40, 44, 45, and the assumption I've basically figured out. I'm always 20% short of everybody. So
Everybody else.
Give or take, add 10 miles.
Yeah, because Jacob's a big dude. He is, how
just
tall
a
are
big
you?
dude.
You're 6'4"?
6'5", 260, fully loaded.
He's
I'm
not,
like a
he's not
freaking wind
aerodynamic
sail.
at all.
No, not at all.
And he likes to flail around when he skates
That's
too.
funny.
So
Everybody's like, oh, you got to crouch down and get low. I'm like, bro, I can't. I am. Can't you tell my knees? I bent them this much.
Yeah.
No, it's just a different ride.
So we were pretty confident that when Jacob got those results, it's like, all right, cool, because he did hit hills and Jacob cooks, So
and even though I freaking hate him, I think my favorite setup are 97s on that board.
It really
is
so good.
I think it looks the best. I think on the best roads, it's worth it.
It's so nice, bro.
I just had an unlucky freaking day that day, I guess.
Yeah.
You've had bad luck on street wheels.
Yeah,
it's a bummer.
We just don't get along. So
Mike cooks on street wheels, but it amazes us.
I'm surprised you didn't say street wheels.
Yeah, me too.
I freaking laugh every time you get on a board.
You get on street wheels and haul ass. Right. And me and Jacob both look at each other like it is a trip that you cook like that on those street wheels, man.
Right.
You know what's funny is I do feel better. See, I don't know because I feel more confident on ATs in the sense that I know I can just run shit over and not be a big deal. But then I feel a completely different sense of confidence when I'm on streets because I'm so low.
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not going to because I feel like on ATs, you're just so tall off the ground. So my center of gravity has been lifted 4 inches or whatever.
I like being higher on the center of gravity. That's what I figured out.
Do you?
Yeah, I like it for sure.
But I think I can throw the board around a lot more on streets. So it's like, we put this board on 80s.
Yeah.
And it's got clearance.
Oh, yeah.
Which
2 inches
insane.
or something like that.
I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't officially recommend it, but there's clearance.
I would. I've seen way worse.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
There are stock boards that are leaving the door that like not even close.
There's a couple boards that are only getting 3 inches of clearance when they're on 7-inch AT tires.
I had to give up riding bamboo. Like on your things.
You're right.
It just was not possible. I'd bottom out everything.
Yeah, and all that flex too. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But yeah, for sure, us having a couple inches on 80 mil is a good thing.
We've gone from 80 to 200 with no problem. Because I feel
like
got
there's
8 inches on there
one other
now.
deck out there that's as thick as us, and that's the Meep Nasty. For sure, and
the Hurricane's quite thick for what it is, and I don't know why.
And people are fine with that.
I misspoke a little. We're a pound heavier.
Yeah, we are a pound heavier.
I thought we were a pound under.
Yeah,
wait. Are you for real?
We're a pound heavier.
Hurricane.
We're only a pound heavier than the
I think if you look
Hurricane.
up the MBO list, right
34
at 34.
34 point a couple.
One or something. And we did yesterday.
We tested with everything.
With CNC hubs.
Yes.
So we did our math there. We take about a pound off.
What did we come out? 36 or something like that?
We were 35.
35 pounds.
Yeah.
So why is our board so heavy?
Because we have a 12S8. Oh,
no. Why is their board heavy?
Oh, I think it's their deck. The way it's probably, I don't know.
You know, like
got to be
their
deck is expensive.
They're just construction of everything, right? It's your battery is very simple. It's very minimal.
Their batteries are like a metal. Like it's like
they just throw a bunch of crap at them.
Yeah, they got a bunch of shit in their deck, bro.
I don't even see a weight listing in their description.
You got to just Google Meep Nasty. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. Meepo Hurricane weight, and it'll
which doesn't surprise me because seriously, this thing, like,
it's a beast.
Yeah, but
their
thing is
spec sheet is like they don't have anything in their description, which is interesting. Yeah. I feel like our description's very loaded. Like we like have everything we could think of in there.
Okay,
but whatever.
So we love this board, about the same size as the Meepo, just a pound.
You know what?
Heavier.
I'll say this: our board's got a nice long wheelbase.
Yes,
it's longer than any.
I think that's why I like
2-in-1 style board that I can think of. And we were talking. We were also talking about like stability of trucks, and like I think that the longer wheelbase also helps. So I think everyone decided to jump ship on a certain set of trucks and never looked at their deck length.
The rest of the equation.
So it's like our deck literally I think our deck is, I want to say almost 3 or 4 inches longer than like the Haitian or a GTR. It's long, like our deck's long.
And that's it makes it nice for taller people too, because you get that wider stance.
Like we need our boxes are freaking huge.
Yeah, we were talking about
I mean, it's not
that.
obnoxiously big, but it's definitely got several inches on pretty much every other 2-in-1 board, which I really like because there's a nice wide foot stance you can have on there, which again all contributes to stability. So like, I think I felt beautifully stable on this.
So let's talk about that. We did with the deck lid, we did very, very minimal concave to the point of where it's not just quite zero.
It's just a little bit of
it's a little different feel, right? I
prefer.
Right, comparing to other carbons and comparing to even bamboos. Downside with concave is that you're stuck with that.
Yeah.
Right? You're stuck with that. So, like, sounds dumb, but dude, wear some better freaking shoes.
Yeah.
Right? And you get natural concave just by having, not a pair of shitty Converse or your Nike Dunks. Like, I'm sorry, those suck. Those are made for tricking. They're not made for standing on a electric skateboard for 30, 20 miles, whatever, at high speed. So I think the concave in that point, you're stuck. Your feet are stuck. You don't get to move.
Right.
No,
we move around. I move my feet all the time on my board.
Yeah.
All the time, just because
concave is
I'm
good.
bored.
Concave is good if you're going to be sliding around. And most people that are sliding around are doing it like 10 miles an hour.
I don't. This is not a board for sliding,
bro. This board is not meant for sliding. This board is meant for, this is a street slayer. The sidewalk surfer.
This is the board where you show up to a group ride and you literally just don't even have to think about your range at all because you'll have the longest range at the whole place.
And you're going to be at the front of the pack. The only person that's going to be really pulling any harder than you is probably going to be a Suron. If you're riding with LaCroix or anything like that, you're riding at the front of the pack. So
there's enough drop down to lock your feet in front and back, but the actual concave in it, I think
it's good.
Is minimal enough that you're so comfortable on it. It's awesome.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
And that's what it's nice for, because if you're going to be banging out 50, 80, almost 100 miles.
I've never been able. I don't care what board it is. I've been riding on many different boards at different group rides, and my feet are always like by the end of a group ride at mile 20. I'm toast anyway.
It hurts, dude. It hurts. I need to sit down for a second, take a break.
So as far as I can tell, no board has achieved 0 foot fatigue. So
it doesn't matter what you do. It's gonna happen. It's part of the skate life. Skate or die.
But it is really nice though that when we roll up to group rides though, like I don't even look. I don't even care what the percentage is because I just know I'm gonna make it.
You're gonna be fine.
It's so nice. nice.
It's funny because we'll end our ride sometimes, and you'll be with us, and I'll be on a 12.4. He'll be on like the quad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and we end up when we're like at 16%, and you'll be at like, oh shit, I'm still at 65. Like, all right, cool.
70%.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
All
Thanks,
right,
bro.
Fuck you.
It's so awesome though, dude. So I'm not saying this is the only board that ever can do this, but we were just sitting around. We're like, do you think our board will pull a car?
Yeah.
So, do you think it'll pull a Tesla? So we hooked it up. Jacob got on the board and
got this strap on,
tethered it to the front of my car,
and
he threw the Tesla in neutral. Which, by the way, Teslas are heavy as shit, bro.
They are. How much is it? How much does a Tesla weigh?
I think I want to say my curb weight is for a 4-door sedan.
Like 260 loaded.
Okay.
I think my weight helps just keep traction on the board. I don't know that you would have been able to hold the traction.
No, hell no. I'm a skinny little fuck, bro.
We laugh though, right? Like, yeah. How much does it weigh?
The curb weight of my car is 3,600 pounds.
Wow.
For a 4-door sedan that's a lot.
She's thick.
But yeah, the board pulled our car. I want to go and redo this again in an open parking lot.
Okay.
We were able to get our car up to 8 miles an hour.
And probably could have got going faster.
And I think we can get it going a lot faster if we have some room.
And we had spectators.
Again, I'm not saying like, oh, our board can pull a car.
Yeah.
No, a lot of boards can do this.
Yeah,
but I just thought it was fun.
Yeah, we seen a boosted V2 do it. So
the idea is that we put the board under
out of the garage
under like extreme stress.
That was the whole point.
Extended period of time, and we did it 3 or 4 times.
Yes, this board has been stress tested.
Yeah, I've never felt motors do that. What I was doing, and I wasn't saying anything, but it was freaking weird, man. Like, you can feel them trying to pull, and just like it's this like not a grind feeling, but like you can just feel the low end torque of these motors trying to go.
It's trying really hard.
Yeah, man. You just
listen. I want to see some more people's boards. See if they can do it. Like, here's the challenge to everybody. Can you guys pull your car on your board?
So I had a customer send us a video.
Yeah, right.
I found a video of a customer pulling their car with like some DIY board years ago with our motors. I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay, I want to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
For sure. I want to see some people post some things. Pull your car.
Yeah.
Somebody pull a Tahoe with something.
Yeah, right. No, but it was cool. I thought it was a fun thing. I do want to do it again, though, at more of an open parking lot and just see how fast we can get that thing going.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to post it.
But anyways, so that's our board, guys. Like, I mean,
endurance.
I feel like, it's been a long time coming. We'll make continuous changes, and we'll already going to work on the next one. But it really is the absolute range monster of a 2-in-1 world right now.
Yes.
Like there's no other 2-in-1s like that's got a range even close.
Well, what's two of the main questions that people ask you? I want the most range and I want the most speed.
Yep.
So and this, a lot of the times this is what you hear. You want to go 25 miles an hour for 30 miles. That's like the new basic minimum, right?
Yeah.
So I think
30 for 30 is heaven.
Yeah, so I think the new minimum is that 25.
Our Interstellar originally came out with 30 for 30 on street wheels. Yes. Now you could go well over 30 for 30 on an aggressive AT setup.
Yeah, for sure. On the 7s, 30 for 30.
Yeah,
nice to
absolutely.
Be able to claim.
But it's more. But it's a lot more than 30 for 30.
More.
But yeah, that's the benchmark. If that's what the current benchmark is,
I feel like it is. I don't know. Am I wrong? Are we wrong?
Dude, it doesn't matter what you think. Someone else has a different opinion, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different opinion, but. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys, sticking around, watching. I appreciate you guys supporting. I hope some of you guys buy our board, so when we see you guys at Esk8Con, we can all geek out over owning the same board together.
Right.
And it would be grand to pay off this mold.
It would be nice.
Mold cost me a fortune, bro. I love it though, but it's fun though. Honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I have the board that I've always wanted. So if it costs me a little money to make it, it is what it is. Yeah. But I'm just hoping to share the love with everybody else and form a little bit of a community within our boards. So it'd be kind of cool.
Yes.
But all right, guys.
Ready for the next board. We're gonna build what I want, folks.
Yeah, you're next, bro. Everyone get your wish list together.
Time for a big boy board, folks.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Absolutely, guys. All right. Well, I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
I think that's about it. But
we got to get to work.
Yeah, we do have to go to work. We have a lot of boards to start building, man. We got to keep building these.
I got a turkey to brine.
I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy. Yeah.
It hasn't happened for us yet, but for you guys watching, it's already happened. So I hope you guys had a good day. And all right, we'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Deuces.
Peace.